Welcome to another episode of AM Excellence. This is AM Excellence 61, Leadership and Culture. I had to do a quick restart there. I apologize for that. But as I said before, I have to do something about this lighting overhead because my face is burning off of the screen. So this is AM Excellence 61, Leadership and Culture. And the book I'm reading is Above the Line, Lessons in Leadership and Life from a Championship Season, written by Urban Meyer, esteemed, famed, high-achieving college football coach. And this term above the line, just to bring you up to speed, if you haven't been listening, or even if you have been listening and you need a little recap. So above the line behavior, if you think of above the line and below the line, above the line is basically proactive, how you should act. Below the line is how you shouldn't act. Above the line, intentional, skillful, on purpose. Those are his three categories that dictate above the line behavior. Intentional, on purpose, skillful. Below the line, impulsive, resistant, on overdrive. I'm glad I remembered those. So that's above the line and that's below the line. Now today's reading is called Leadership and Culture. And culture is this thing, if you think of culture, as we say in general, that culture, or I personally am a fan of Hispanic culture or Spanish culture, it's something that I like. But if you break it down, culture is it's their beliefs, it's their behaviors, it's the way they think, the way they act. So this is all talking about culture. Now when we're talking about culture in a workplace, culture on a team, culture in a home, that's the kind of culture that I'm talking about specifically today, and how leadership plays a role in the development of that culture. Think of your workplace. What kind of culture is there? Do people get there early? Do people talk smack on everyone else in the office? Are people focused on individual goals, or are people focused on team goals, the bigger picture? All of that has to do with culture. Now, Urban Meyer says, not once in the 2014 season, and this is talking about performance, and I'll lead into culture. Not once in the 2014 season did I stand before the team and state that our goal was to win a national championship. So when we're talking about the development of culture and the leadership that influences that culture, he says not once in their national championship season did he mention a national championship. Now, I'm going to refer to another great college sports coach, John Wooden, who was a basketball coach at UCLA. And his definition of success is the peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. So as I make these videos, trust me, I'm as skeptical as the next guy. I hate fluff. I don't want fluff. I want action. I want, as we said yesterday, I don't want theory. I want results. I'm as skeptical as the next guy. But if Urban Meyer, one of the best college coaches of all time, and John Wooden, the best college basketball, maybe the best coach of all time, both feel the same way, then there's a chance that it's the truth. So start listening to that, start paying attention to it, and start absorbing it into your minds. He says, our focus was entirely on 9 units strong. That's how they break down their team, 9 units strong. So he's saying our focus was on the unity of our team. That's it. That's the leadership that then built the culture that then enabled them to win a national championship. It wasn't the leadership that won the championship that built the culture. It's the leadership that builds the culture that gets the results. He goes on to say, he talks about the right kind of culture and the wrong kind of culture. And he says, on a team driven by an intentional culture, attitude and effort are focused in the same direction, and the foundation for success has been created. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, think in your situation. If you're on your way to work, you're about to, whether it's an office, whether it's a team, if you're a coach, whether it's a classroom, if you're a teacher, what is the culture of that classroom? Is everyone focused on their own individual goals, or are they focused on the bigger matter at hand? Because what you'll find, the reason that I mentioned this before, I read about it in, I believe it was either What's Your Why or Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. He mentioned the idea why 12-step programs for addicts work so well. And it's that they're all focused on this one goal, and that creates a sense of community. Same with the military. A lot of times you'll hear guys, veterans of wars, who are in these war-torn territories, life and death situations, who say they miss that because there was such a strong sense of community and such a strong bond that far exceeded any individual goal or individual intention that they had. They were so focused on that goal, and that leadership develops that culture, which then produces the results. He goes on to say, and this is, I actually made a little quote, maybe a meme, I guess you could say, this morning, and posted it on my social media. But he says, performance cannot be declared, it must be led. Performance cannot be declared, it must be led. I cannot sit on the couch with a cigarette in my mouth, fast food in front of me, and point to my son Rocky and my daughter Gracie and say, get up and go exercise. Come on, go. You got to get out. You got to be active. When I sit on my butt and eat bad food, I don't read, I don't lead. So that performance, the people under you, and if you're saying, well, I'm not a leader, yes, you are a leader. Do you have children? You're a leader. Do you have friends? You're a leader. Do you have yourself? You're a leader. You're leading yourself. So no matter how much you try to pass the buck, you are a leader if at the end of the day you're only leading yourself. And that performance cannot be declared, it must be led. There's nothing worse than someone on the sidelines pointing fingers. And those people are not watching these videos. I can guarantee you that. He goes on to say, and this is reiterating what I had said before about that the leadership creating this feeling, this energy, this, you are right, Scott Brenneman, talk the talk and walk the walk. He goes on to say, exceptional leaders create a culture that engages hearts and minds, energizes action, and executes with discipline. So a lot of the concepts that I think about, that I digest and I process, they're very hard to put into words. I try my best to put them into words. It's easier when the words are in a book for me. But if I would try to encapsulate the message that I'm trying to spread, it's energy. It's as simple as that, energy. Energy for the way you live your life, the way you wake up in the morning, the way you interact with people, the way you take care of yourself, the way you learn. That's energy. And great leaders are able to instill that energy in the groups or the teams, in the people around them. Case in point, I make a lot of cold calls, unsuccessful cold calls, to schools for school assemblies. And I must have called 100 and am 0 for 100. But anyway, one of the principals, I call and it's the same voicemail, same routine all the time. And one of the principals had this booming voice that as soon as I heard his voice, I started smiling and I started laughing because it was such energy. And that's a reminder to us all. He wasn't anything special. He just decided to make a choice. My strength coach, Don Messing, the first time I called his voicemail, he has since passed away. One of the best guys ever. When I called his voicemail, boom, it made me smile. We have that ability. We have the potential of that leadership within us. This is another really, and I'll probably wrap up with this concept because it's a pretty profound concept. He says the foundation of culture is core beliefs, not platitudes or quotes, core beliefs, the beliefs that are the heart of the team, core beliefs. In my program that I teach, the workshops that I teach and the keynotes that I give, the first two elements of excellence are creating a vision and identifying your core values. Your core values, your core beliefs. Because at the end of the day, when everything's against you, when you've lost, when you've gotten knocked out on live television, when everyone is telling you how terrible you are, when the whole world hates you, the thing that you're left with is your core beliefs, your core values. It's you, it's the mirror, it's your mind, and that's it. Because everyone else goes to bed, and you're the only one at the end of the night who is with yourself. So you better have those core beliefs. You better know who you are. I say this to a lot of youth when I talk to them, but I believe leadership, being a leader is knowing exactly who you are and being that person 100% of the time, whether it puts you in front of the crowd or whether it sets you apart from the crowd. But it's having those core beliefs within yourself. And he goes on to say, there's a profound difference between a concept in your head and a belief in your heart. When a belief is truly core, when it is fully and completely on your heart, then it will drive everything you do. When it's truly in your heart, it'll drive everything you do. If it's just a quote, or it's just fluff, or it's just a pat on the back, woo, way to go, it's going to fade. But when it is at your core, it's never going to fade. Why do I get up at 4:30 in the morning every day, except Sunday? Because of this freaking desire to spread this energy in everything I do. That's it. It's terrible. This morning it was so warm and cozy, and my dog was curled up next to me. It was terrible. But that belief, that desire, overrides everything that I do. I'm going to make a point there. I'm human. You're human. We're all human. So none of us are perfect. I believe it's the intent of that excellence that's the most important part. Okay, I'll give you one more thing to ponder before we move on and welcome AM Excellence 62 Manana. He talks about this thing called competitive excellence. Excellence is a theme of mine. Hey, James, thank you. Excellence is a theme of mine, and as I just said, the intent, the pursuit of that excellence is what truly matters. Not achieving that excellence, because achieving that excellence is perfection, doesn't exist. But he mentions this thing called competitive excellence, and it means a constant focus on mental reps and game reps. It is the mindset of a winner. It is consistent engagement in your training and preparation. It is consistent engagement in your training and preparation, your physical training and your mental preparation. Physical training, mental preparation, competitive excellence. I would suggest to you today, achieve that competitive excellence. How are you completing reps mentally? Are you reading? Are you learning? Are you listening? And how are you completing those reps physically? Are you training yourself? To what level are you pushing yourself? A day is a success to me if I push myself mentally and I push myself physically. That's as complex as it gets in the life of Spaniard. So I hope you all enjoyed AM Excellence 61, Leadership in Culture. Takeaways from this video: culture is developed by the leadership. It's leadership, culture, results, not the other way around. Everyone have a great day. Carpe diem, fight well. I'll see you all tomorrow at 6 a.m. for AM Excellence 62. Until then, keep fighting the fight.